If you ask me what Fusion tool you absolutely must master to create those buttery smooth SaaS-style animations, it's the Spline Editor. This is where the real magic happens. So in this video, I will show you how to use the Spline Editor like a pro. First, I will drop a Fusion COM on the timeline and open it in Fusion. I will grab a background node and connect it to media out. For this tutorial, let's build that super popular 3-dot SaaS animation. I will grab an ellipse node and another background node. Connect the ellipse to the background and pick a color. Now to make this part of the design, I will connect this background into the background 1 and Fusion will handle the connections for us. I will adjust the edges of the ellipse and resize it down a bit. That looks fine. Let's animate it. At frame 0, I will add a keyframe on the ellipse center, move forward about 3 frames, add another keyframe, no change in value. Then go forward around 15 frames and move the dot slightly upward. Now if I play this, you can see the motion is very plain and linear. The speed is the same at the start, middle, and end. But here's the thing. Whenever you add a keyframe on a parameter, Fusion creates a spline. And inside the Spline Editor, you can shape that motion exactly how you want. You can open the Spline Editor in 2 ways. Either right-click the node and choose Added Splines, or just click the Spline button. Just like other panels in DaVinci Resolve, you can drag it to resize. Now, quick breakdown. The main area is the graph. Here, values are on the y-axis and time is on the x-axis. And in Fusion, time is in frames, not seconds. On the left side, you will see all the nodes and their parameters that have been keyframed. Right now, we only animated one parameter, so we only see one. If I check it once, the spline appears. Click again, it goes into read-only mode. You can see it, but not edit it. Click again, and it disappears. Now, if you animate multiple parameters, checking the node name will show all splines together, and it can turn into a bit of spaghetti. So in those cases, it's better to isolate them one by one while working. Each spline has its own color, which helps a lot. You can change the color if you want, either from the circle or by right-clicking. At the bottom, we have the toolbar. Think of these like motion presets. We also have time and value tools, which I will explain in a bit. There are zoom controls here, but honestly, I rarely use them. I almost always hit zoom to fit. It just frames everything nicely. Now this 3-dot menu. This has filters. Most of the time, I use show only selected tool so things stay clean and focused. Alright, now that you know what is what, let's actually shape the motion. Just by looking at this spline, you can tell what is happening. The value changes suddenly after frame 3, then moves in a linear fashion, and then stops abruptly. Let's fix that. If I select these 2 keyframes and click smooth, you will see the motion now eases in and eases out. This is something you will use a lot. But for SaaS-style animations, usually we want something a bit different. Fast start and slow and smooth ending. So I will grab the handle of the last keyframe and drag it to the left. And for the first keyframe, I will tweak this handle a bit. Now it accelerates quickly and slows down nicely at the end. Just keep adjusting and experimenting until it feels right. If you ever want to reset, just hit linear. Step in and step out. Not used much for the simple motion, but in complex setups, they can be very useful. They basically create sudden jumps instead of smooth transition. Now, reverse. This one is handy. Let's say I animated this dot upward. Now I want it to go downward instead. Just like the keyframes, hit reverse and done. Now let's talk about looping. If I select these keyframes and hit set loop, it creates an infinite loop. And if I tweak the handles of the original spline, these changes apply to the entire loop. But notice this, at the end of each loop, it jumps back to the start. That creates a visible jerk. Not great for this animation. So let's undo that. If I apply set ping pong, this will smoothly loop the animation. Unlike the set loop preset, this inverses every next loop. Meaning the first loop is the inverse of the original spline, the second loop is the inverse of the first loop, the third loop flips again, and this keeps repeating. I will undo that for now. Set relative also loops, but it keeps adding value every time. So the motion keeps moving upward over time. Now, time stretch, very useful. Right now, the animation ends at frame 18, but let's say I want it to end at frame 15 instead. I will select these keyframes, hit time stretch. Now I can drag these 2 white lines to change the duration between the keyframes. Let's undo that. Now the shape box tool. This is even more powerful. You can stretch timing, adjust values, and even move groups of keyframes around. Now, the time and value tools. If I select this keyframe, you will see its exact frame number here. If I want it at frame 6, I just type 6 and it jumps there. Let's undo that. Time offset is simple. If this keyframe is at frame 3 and I add 3, it moves to frame 6. Negative values move it backward. Timescale is similar, but also depends on the playhead. To keep things simple, we will skip that for now. Value works the same way, but for the position instead of time. At this point, you already know more about the Spline Editor than most Resolve users. So let's use this to finish our animation. I will select the node, open the Spline Editor, select the last 2 keyframes, and smooth them. For this one, I don't need to tweak the handles further. Now I'll select all 3 keyframes and apply Set Ping Pong. This gives us a nice looping motion with a slight pause at the base. Now I'll copy this ellipse setup and paste it 2 more times, then merge everything into the main pipeline. I will take the second one and move it to the right, then the third one, move it further right, and I will make sure that the spacing is even. Right now, all 3 dots move exactly the same, so let's offset the animation. I will select the second ellipse, open the Spline Editor, select all keyframes, and offset the time by 3 frames. Then for the third ellipse, offset by 6 frames. Let's play this. That looks nice, kind of cute too. And that's it. If you learned something new, give the video a like and subscribe.